In the winter of 1678, as snow blanketed the streets of Europe, a silent wave of bloodshed hung heavy in the air. The British Empire, France's military might, Russia's icy borders, Iran's secret councils, the rising influence of America, and hidden revolts in the Indian subcontinent, all were threads in a deep, unseen game. Every character, every city, every power was entangled in a hidden circle whose truth no one had yet seen. In a secret room in Paris, 36-year-old François Marceau stood with his masked military organization, contemplating the balance between ideology and power. In Moscow's frozen expanse, 34-year-old Sergei Petrov was laying the foundation of a new Soviet alliance, while in Germany, 29-year-old Elias Berger was spreading his ideological plans across every street of Europe. In London, 45-year-old Henry Wallace crafted secret strategies to protect his empire, and in Washington, 44-year-old Emily Carter was drafting the invisible rules of a global game. In Tehran, 33-year-old Nader Jahangir, and in Lahore, 31-year-old Salman Karim were ready to fight for the destiny of their land and people. It was an era when powers left their mark in every corner of the world with values, ideologies, and secret plans. One wrong move, one hidden message, or one ambiguous alliance could redraw the map of the world. And this story is of that dangerous, mysterious, and powerful era, where every power, every decision, and every secret could alter the course of history. This was not just a story, but the story of a world intertwined with power, politics, revolution, and humanity. Where every character was a player, every country a game, and every moment a decision. And the game had only just begun. On a cold night in 1678, the European skies were clear, but shadows of power struggles had grown deep. In London streets, a 32-year-old historian, Adrian Faulkner, studied maps by candlelight. He had no idea that the borders he measured on paper would, in the coming centuries, be written in blood. Before him lay a secret document with just one word: balance. At the same time, in Paris, 41-year-old diplomat Louis Marceau smiled at a gathering, but his eyes weighed every individual. He knew that power was not just built with swords, but also through relationships. A question echoed in his mind: if European empires turned against one another, what role would the New World play across the seas? Across the Atlantic, in the region later called America, still a collection of colonies, 27-year-old merchant Jonathan Reed watched ships in the Boston harbor. He understood that trade was the true power. Gold, spices, cloth, these left a more lasting mark than any war. Time moved forward. In 1707, the Union of Britain and Scotland formed the Kingdom of Great Britain. 36-year-old secret advisor Sir Edmund Harrow once stated in court, "Empires are made not by borders but by narratives." At that time, few paid attention, but history would prove him right. In 1732, in Iran, 29-year-old General Arash Kamyar organized his army on Persian soil. His eyes held only one dream: the restoration of lost glory. He knew that lands bridging east and west were always battlegrounds. By 1757, the atmosphere of the Indian subcontinent had shifted. 34-year-old scholar Hassan Raza Qadri sat in a Delhi library, flipping through historical pages. He realized that knowledge itself was a weapon in the game of power. To young students, he said, "Empires do not fall from outside, they weaken from within." Then came 1776, the American colonies declared independence. 30-year-old revolutionary Alexander Morgan, reading the Declaration, said, "This is not just freedom, it's the beginning of a new balance." For the first time, Britain realized that power across the sea could pose a challenge. Meanwhile, in Russia, in 1798, 38-year-old military officer Nikolai Dragov stood in St. Petersburg's fortress, looking at the map of Europe. He murmured, "Icy lands may seem silent, but when they move, they shake empires." By the dawn of the 19th century, the world had entered a new stage. In 1823, America announced the Monroe Doctrine. 44-year-old Senator Thomas Avery said in a secret session, "We will stay away from Europe's wars, but keep the Western Hemisphere under our watch." In 1839, secret diplomatic exchanges occurred between Britain and Persia. 33-year-old Iranian scholar Kamran Safavi in Tehran said, "A nation that does not close its own doors will have its doors closed by outsiders." In 1857, revolt erupted in the Indian subcontinent. 28-year-old soldier Salman Haider told his comrades in Meerut, "This is not just a revolt, this is a war of honor." Britain suppressed it with power, but the seed had been sown. In 1871, Germany united, shifting Europe's balance once again. 39-year-old British analyst Charles Winthrop wrote, "Now the game is no longer just Europe's. Every power must watch every direction. America, Russia, Persia, and India are all chess pieces in this game." In 1889, in Tehran, 31-year-old merchant Rustam Faridun saw Russian and British representatives at the same table. He understood that Iran was no longer just a country but a bridge between two powers. In his diary, he wrote, "Bridges are always the first targets." By the morning of 1890, London, Paris, St. Petersburg, Washington, Calcutta, and Tehran were all observing each other. 35-year-old American journalist Emily Carter wrote in her article, "This century will not pass quietly. Powers are rising, alliances are shifting, and borders are still unsettled." That same year, in Lahore, 26-year-old student Farid Ahmed Khan asked his teacher, "Will the subcontinent ever be free?" The teacher smiled, "History demands patience, but when it turns, it changes everything." In Russia, 42-year-old strategist Alexei Morozov advised the Tsar, "Keep your eyes on the south. Warm water ports are the gateways of the future." Britain responded immediately, giving birth to the Great Game, a silent war with fewer bullets and more spies. In America, 29-year-old sailor Jacob Harper stood on a ship heading toward the Pacific Ocean. "We will not remain a single continent," he said. His eyes held vastness, and vastness always breeds conflict. In Iran, 37-year-old poet Layla Darakhshan wrote, "Empires come and go, but the land remains. Yet even the land is safe only as long as those who walk upon it do not sell it." In the Indian subcontinent, 33-year-old young lawyer Imran Siddiqui first spoke the word, self-governance. His voice was still soft, but it echoed far. In a secret London room, 40-year-old Adrian Faulkner, now a senior advisor, unfolded the old map, the same one marked, balance. He whispered, "Balance never lasts. It holds only until the next war." At the same moment, in Paris, Louis Marceau's son, 22-year-old Armand Marceau, was learning diplomacy. He had no idea that Europe would witness a fire in the coming century that would change the world. In Washington, Emily Carter received a secret letter. "All alliances are temporary. Interests are permanent. If you wish to understand history, read the motivations, not the maps." Who sent the letter? Russia, Britain, Persia, or some secret circle in the subcontinent? The story did not stop here, because 1890 was only the beginning. The threads of power were about to intertwine. New names would rise, new ages, new generations. Alliances would shift, borders would tremble, and those who are friends today may demand reckoning tomorrow. By the winter of 1891, a secret Northern Sea treaty was finalized. 45-year-old British naval officer Sir Richard Alderson signed, saying, "This paper grants temporary peace, but the sea belongs to no one." Across from him sat 38-year-old Russian delegate Mikhail Sorokin, whose eyes held frozen silence. Both knew this was not peace, only a pause. Meanwhile, in Tehran, 34-year-old Kamran Safavi received a secret message that Russian activity in the north was increasing. He warned the court, "If we do not strengthen ourselves, we will have only one path on the map, not a destination." His words were heard, but action was still to come. In Lahore, 27-year-old Farid Ahmed Khan had become a young orator. Gathering students, he said, "We will not remain mere spectators. A nation that does not rise for its rights does not remain in history." His words echoed off silent walls. In Washington, 36-year-old Emily Carter discovered another secret document detailing American expansion toward the Pacific. 31-year-old Senator Daniel Harper said in a closed room, "If Europe is tangled in old wounds, we must step into the new world." America was no longer just an observer, it had entered the game. In 1893, near Moscow, 44-year-old strategist Alexei Morozov spread a map before the Tsar. "We must open the path south. Warm water ports are the gateways to our future." Russia's eyes turned closer to Persia and the subcontinent. In Paris, 24-year-old Armand Marceau read his father's diary, "Alliances are made from necessity, not emotion." Armand realized for the first time that Europe was splitting into blocks again. France, Britain, Russia, but how long would this friendship hold? In 1895, in Tehran's market, 29-year-old Layla Darakhshan recited a poem. When powers whisper, the earth trembles. When the earth trembles, people awaken. Her poetry was no longer literature, it became a message. Meanwhile, in the subcontinent, 35-year-old lawyer Imran Siddiqui said in a secret council, "We need education, unity, and strategy. Not emotions. Change comes through planning." Among the listeners was 22-year-old student Salman Karim, whose eyes burned with determination. In 1897, in a secret London office, Sir Richard Alderson read a new report. America is rapidly becoming an industrial power. Russia moves southward. Persia is under pressure. The subcontinent is restless. He whispered, "This century will not end quietly." In 1898, 33-year-old U.S. naval officer Catherine Reed assumed command of the Pacific Fleet. "Our power will not remain only on land, but also on the seas," he declared. America began asserting its presence globally. By the evening of 1899, Lahore, Tehran, Moscow, Paris, London, and Washington all felt connected by invisible threads. Farid Ahmed Khan received a secret message: powers in the northwest were planning new borders. Kamran Safavi in Tehran learned of unusual Russian activity. Morozov in Moscow heard Britain was searching for secret allies. Emily Carter in Washington received a letter. What is coming is not just war, it is the foundation of a new order. The 1890s were ending, but the real game was about to begin. A new century was at the door. Old leaders were aging, Sir Richard at 49, Morozov 48, Cameron 38, Imran 39, Emily 40, but their students were young, fearless, restless. The first night of 1900, fireworks in London, celebrations in Paris, military parades in Moscow, speeches in Washington, silent prayers in Lahore, a mix of hope and fear in Tehran. But behind it all was one truth: powers were on the move. On that very night, in a dark room in Lahore, 23-year-old Salman Karim asked Farid Ahmed Khan, "If war breaks out tomorrow, whose side will we be on?" Farid whispered, "We will be on our own side, but the choice will not be easy." Meanwhile, in Moscow, Morozov received a message of unusual activity on the southern border. In Washington, Catherine Reed was ordered to keep the Pacific Fleet ready. In Tehran, Kamran Safavi scheduled a meeting with the Shah. In Paris, Armand Marceau opened a new diplomatic file marked, "East, immediate attention required." By the spring of 1901, the first secret wire was sent. The message traveled from Tehran, passed through Moscow, via a private Berlin network, to Paris, then London, and finally reached Washington. The message was short but dangerous. The southern path is opening. Whoever reaches first will draw the map. In Tehran, 39-year-old Kamran Safavi stamped it. Before him stood 28-year-old young diplomat Nader Jahangir, eyes questioning. "Are we siding with one power?" he asked. Kamran replied softly, "We side with our existence, but we must play the game with everyone." In Moscow, 49-year-old Alexei Morozov realized the matter was not limited to Persia. He told his 26-year-old aide Sergei Petrov, "If Britain grows strong in the south, we will be surrounded. If America expands from the Pacific, the balance will shift. We must watch both." In London, now 50-year-old Sir Richard Alderson closed the file. Russia moves, Persia under pressure. The subcontinent is our lifeline. If unrest grows there, the empire's heart will weaken. Before him stood 30-year-old secret officer Henry Wallace, already designated to be sent to Lahore. In Lahore, 29-year-old Farid Ahmed Khan realized that foreign powers were infiltrating not only borders but minds. He warned 24-year-old Salman Karim, "Remember, when great powers move, small regions become battlegrounds. We must not be the field, we must be players." In Washington, 34-year-old Catherine Reed placed a finger on the Pacific map. "We will not fall into Europe's quarrels, but if the balance of power breaks, our economy will suffer. We must stay ready." 38-year-old Emily Carter was no longer just a journalist, she had access to policy circles. She wrote in her report, "The 19th century has ended, but its questions remain. In the next century, the definition of power will be rewritten." In 1902, in Paris, 25-year-old Armand Marceau said at a secret meeting, "If Britain and Russia clash, France will have to decide. And if America intervenes, the game goes global. His mentor replied, decisions are always made late, but the price is always paid early. In 1903, a railway project north of Tehran emerged. 31-year-old Nader Jahangir noticed that Russian engineers and British investors both showed interest. Kamran Safavi sighed, rails are not just iron, they are roots of influence. That same year, in Lahore, 25-year-old Salman Karim established his first secret organization. Its aim was not revolt, but awareness. We must understand the language of power, he told his comrades, otherwise, we will always be part of someone else's story, never the authors of our own.